Welcome to Multiplicity Crafts and the Save the Crafty YouTuber celebration. Us card makers are coming together to share various techniques to help other crafters and YouTubers reach monetization goals. Simply watch, like, consider subscribing, and click the link below to the next video. Plus, we have lots of prizes which you could win, but more on that later. For now, let's jump right into today's project. So as you could tell by the title of my video, I am going to be doing a technique called reverse inking, which I think I invented, probably not, but I kind of think I did. Anyway, I'm going to begin with the scrapbook.com blending tools, and these are the full size, and then I also have the smaller ones, which are the finger daubers, and I'm going to be using the smaller size, but I did want to show you the larger size, which you can see I already opened. I just had to play a little while. So anyway, I'm going to begin with a piece of scratch paper. This is just, is it scratch or scrap? Do you say scrap or scratch paper? Let me know in the comments below. Very curious about that. So anyway, I'm going to begin with this piece of paper, and I'm going to use my favorite combination of distress ink colors. You've probably seen me use these colors before. It's the picked raspberry, peacock feathers, mustard seed, and spice marmalade. So I'm going to begin with the picked raspberry. And I'm not trying to blend like a pro. I don't really care at this point if it's pristine and perfect. I'm just laying down color. Because this technique we're going to use, it's not really going to matter. What does matter though is that you lay down plenty of ink so that this technique will work. Now when I switch from color to color, I'm changing my little finger dauber to the corresponding color so I don't mix my colors on my ink pad. And I'm overlapping the blue with the pink you can see there, and it creates a purple. Now, be careful when you mix colors if you use a different color combination than what I'm using, because it can get muddy and start turning brown if you don't put colors together that play nice. So you see this yellow and blue, when I overlap those, it's going to create a green, which is fine. And so just be careful when you are overlapping your colors that you don't put two colors together that would just make a muddy mess for you on your paper. Now at the bottom, I'm just going to add a little bit of this orange color to blend that yellow in. It's probably not going to show that much. Now here's the technique, which I think I totally invented, which probably I did not, and am just flattering myself. So I'm going to take a piece of just dry cardstock paper, but this one that I've inked, I'm going to spray it with water. And then take the dry piece of paper and almost use it like you would a paper towel to dry up the water. I have my distress tool or ink blending tool, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just using that. It's just a clean one to press that into place. Now I've turned this over, and I'm going to lift up the paper, and it will reveal what printed off of the ink. Now I didn't get a really good impression, and I was kind of bummed, but it happens. I'm not worried because my die is going to go diagonally across there anyway, and it's not going to show that little blank spot. But I do want to show you, you can add a little bit more water and fill in little blank spots if you need to, but it's very, very risky because you're going to be adding more layers, and it could start to get a little bit splotchy, let's say. But it's okay for now. I did want to show you another thing not to do, and that is do not add more distress ink onto that. The reason being, it's going to be too concentrated without the water, and it's going to add two layers, and it's going to give you a very dark spot on your paper. So you can see there, I'm showing you how it does not work. Now, I didn't show you this purposely to show you that it didn't work. I'm going to be honest, because I thought it would, but no, it does not work. So don't do that, but I wanted to show you that little dark spot. But like I say, it doesn't matter because the die I'm going to be putting diagonally anyway, and it's going to be just peachy. So no worries there. once I have that die cut out, it doesn't look like much, and it's like, yeah, big deal. Well, once I lay it on the shadow of this black paper, it looks amazing. And I was like, ta-da, I actually did it. Yay, go me. Because normally when I try these fancy techniques, it just looks like child's play, like a kid. I don't know if that's the right word, but it just looks like a kid did it basically. But when I pulled this off and I put it onto the black, I'm like, oh my goodness, I actually am kind of proud of that. Yay. And so I just wanted to show you this technique to show you that you can do that too. I did choose to glue this onto black because I think it really made the pastels stand out nicely. And so I'm going to have that as my main sentiment on my card. And I just wanted to show you that technique up front. I'm going to be using the scrapbook.com hybrid ink to stamp my sentiment, which is from the scrapbook.com stamp set called Handmade Essentials. And I'm going to be using the Thinking of You. So it's going to say, hello, thinking of you on my card. Now, I did find that if you don't have an acrylic block, the lid of the scrapbook.com ink actually will work as an acrylic block. So I don't know if it was meant to be that way, but it does work. So I'm going to use my acrylic block and stamp my sentiment thinking of you onto just a white sheet of cardstock. And I'm going to cut that down pretty small because I don't want it to be really wide. I want it to be pretty narrow strip of paper. When I put that on my card, I'll trim it down some more and border it with some black. I'm going to be doing a top folding A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And so I'm going to layer the corresponding panels smaller and smaller as I go. So I have a black panel and then the other white panel just to kind of give it something to stand out. I have a diagonally cut panel that's going to go at the bottom. That will give it a little bit of interest so it's not all just so perfectly straight, and it just adds something to the card. And then I'm going to have that little black border peeking out for the diagonal paper and add some really pretty doodlebug design paper on top at an angle as well. So once I have that cut, I'll glue that on. But I just wanted to lay it down there just to show you what it's going to look like. And then I'm going to put my hello sentiment above and then the thinking of you below. And once I have this all constructed, it's going to look great. You could leave off the sequins and gems, but I didn't because I love me some bling. So once I have this all glued together, you can see how it's starting to come together. On the hello sentiment, I decided to pop it up on some foam squares simply because it needed something to give it some dimension and to add to the effect that I wanted, that hello is the focal point. So once I add the little foam squares on the back and pull off the adhesive backer, I will, you guessed it, stick that on my card. How'd you ever guess? Yep, that's what I'm going to do. But you can see that when I'm laying it down, I'm not going to just haphazardly lay it down. I'm going to purposely layer a little bit of the H and the LL over the thinking of you, and then the top part of the H and the top parts of the L's on the white. Do you see how that pulls the card all together? That way, a little bit of that word, hello, is touching the bottom and the top, and the dimension really adds to it. Again, I can't leave well enough alone, so I had to add the bling. So, in order to get my sequins to stay, after I glued them on, I just finished them off with a little bit of glitter glue in the little tiny hole, and that way it completes it and gives it a little bit of extra sparkle, which it's really hard to see on camera, but in person it is very sparkly and beautimous. So you could totally leave the sequins and gems off, and I think it would still look great. It would be more like a clean and simple card, I would say. But with the added gems and sequins, it just gives it a little bit of extra. And here are the finished photos of the card. I try to keep it as brief as possible because I know you have other videos that you want to see. But don't go just yet. I have some giveaway information. So it is giveaway time. Each channel on the hop is giving away a prize. You don't have to comment on each channel in the hop, but each channel you do comment on earns you an entry for that particular channel's prize. In order to enter my giveaway for 2 Catherine Pooler inks of your choice, simply comment below letting me know if you are in the US or if you're international. It's that easy. All of the important details that you will need to know are in the description box, and so I want to make sure that you check out the description box so you don't miss that. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hop to the next person in my description box. Have a great day.